Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about first grade music lessons, specifically about quarter and eighth note and about forte and piano. Before we get started, there's a couple things you should know. Number one, I am now teaching hybrid half the week and online half the week. So the first few days are going to be hybrid lessons, and then the second few days are going to be online lessons. So however you're teaching, you will be fine. And number two is that I see my students for a whole week at a time. So I'm going to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can translate that to week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever. One last thing before we get in, I did want to mention, if you do happen to be teaching virtually, I do have a book all about, please hold, all about virtual music lessons. This is available in paperback and also in an ebook form, so I will link that down below. And it is literally all of that. Those are all lessons that you can use with your students like tomorrow. It is chock full of super to the point, super simple things that I have done with my kids, so I know they work, that you can totally do with your students as well. All right, with that, let's hop right on in. So with first grade on Monday, they come in and we're starting with just a nice, fun little warm up, and we're using the song Shout. So you know the song, shout, you make me wanna shout. And we do something really simple. I just tell them every time you hear the word shout, put your hands up, and then the rest of the time just follow me. So basically, whenever we get to those sections where it's saying shout over and over and over, we put our hands up. The rest of the time, we're just keeping the steady beat on different parts of our body. So we'll put it on our shoulders, we'll kind of like snap or move back and forth or whatever I'm feeling at the time, and they just follow me. And it's a really fun way to get their bodies and minds moving and be like, oh yeah, I remember what we do in music. After that, we are all nice and warmed up and we start to learn the song Mouse Mousey. Mouse Mousey, little mousey, hurry, hurry do, or the kitty in the housey will be chasing you. This song is really simple and it's really cute, and it's going to tie in with our forte and piano, so I'm kind of introducing it before I talk about those things so that they kind of are getting used to it. After that, we get back up and I have them go over some rhythms. So last time we were here, I presented quarter and eighth note with the song Engine Number 9. I will link that video down below, and so that you can see all of those things. So today I just pull up some rhythm cards. I'm using the forte and piano rhythm cards that are in my TPT shop, and we are just looking at them and I'm like, okay, who remembers what this is? And they're like, ta, and I'm like, who remembers this is? TT, great. And I have to be honest, I was a little surprised by how quickly they picked it up. I thought it was gonna be a lot harder this year, but they did it really well. So we go over that and then we practice some rhythms, and I have them stomp the rhythms, which just makes it a lot more fun than clapping or saying them. So we say them and we stomp them, and I echo the first few. I go first in them, and then I let them do it themselves. And then I'm like, oh great, let's see if we can make this harder. And I have the kids pull out something to write with and something to write on, and we start with some dictation. Yep, all the way in first grade. So this is really fun. The kids in school have been using their whiteboards, and the kids at home are just using a paper and a pencil. And so I start with just having them write a ta and a tt, and then after that I will look at one of my rhythm cards and I'll say the rhythm. And at first I'll really guide them through. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. So I'm gonna draw a ta. Ta is a dot and then a line. And then what came after that? Ta, ta. Oh good, another ta. And I'm like, is ta one dot or two? They're like, one. And like really have them kind of coach me through the first one. And then I'll gradually give up control until we get to the end where I'm saying a rhythm and seeing who can figure it out without any help from me. And I usually give them like a 30-second to a minute head start where I'll let them try it on their own. Then I will come and help them, because some of them will still, you know, need more time to get that concept of hearing and writing down. But I will also say that they picked it up surprisingly well. Like my first class we did this, and the very first class, the very first rhythm, I said it and they were just like, here you go. And I was like, this is usually a lot harder. I don't really know what to do. It was really cool, but it was really, really cool. And then after that, I let them always write. I always like to end with having them write their own rhythm and then telling them if they write. And I think and every time it never fails, they always want to write like the longest rhythm. They're like ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, 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 ta, ta. It's hilarious. Like they'll use the entire whiteboard, and it is so funny. On Tuesday, the kids come in and we do one of my favorite super easy movement activities, and that is what I call walk and stomp. So I play my drum, and if I play it loudly, then they stomp or they jump, and if I play it quietly, then they tiptoe. And so I'll go back and forth, and I usually do 8 beats of one, 8 beats of the other, or 16, 16, or 8, 16, or however I want to do it. And then I get faster and faster and faster and faster, and then I'll slow it way down. And that really helps them to get the wiggles out and also forces them to think. After that, I'm like, oh, great. I was playing it 2 different ways. How was I playing? They're like, oh, loud and soft. I'm like, great. Now, do you want to learn the fancy schmancy music words for that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, good. Okay. So I always tell them, forte means loud, and I have them echo it back a couple of times. And the piano means quiet, and we'll go back and forth. Can you say piano means quiet? Forte means loud, forte means loud. And we'll just go back and forth a couple times to really get that in them. Then I'll pull out those same rhythm cards from yesterday, and I'm like, oh, great. These rhythm cards, sometimes they have a mouse on them. Is a mouse forte or piano? And they're like, piano. I'm like, oh, good. Is a bear forte or piano? And they're like, forte. I'm like, oh, good. So if you see a bear on it, we're gonna play it forte. And if you see a mouse, then we're gonna play it piano. And this is a really great activity for them to do because they're reading their rhythms, they're working on those things, but they're also working on that piano and forte. So like we're getting a lot of stuff done at one time, which is just always the best. So then after that, I'll have them sit down and we do Grizzly Bear. Grizzly Bear is one of my favorite songs. I have a whole video just about Grizzly Bear and how I use it in my class, so I will leave that link down below. But I will also tell you here, and so how I do this is I tell them, okay, so if it's, I'm gonna sing the song, and if I'm singing forte, put your hands out like this, and if I'm singing piano, put your hands in like this. And this is how I like to introduce the song. It's the easiest, and that's also the signs we use. So every time we say forte, we put our hands out like this. Every time we say piano, we put our hands in like this. I really specifically, by the way, do it this way and not this way because I want to differentiate between piano and forte and high and low. So doing this kind of gets confusing with high and low, but this helps it to not be quite as confusing. Anyway, that was a side note. So the song Grizzly Bear goes, Grizzly bear, oh grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Grizzly bear, oh grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you wake him, if you shake him, he'll get very mad. It's super cute, super fun, and there's a game that we're gonna play, I think tomorrow with it, so I will tell you the game in a second. But the song is really fun. I teach it by rote. We go back and forth, and we use our hands the whole time to really emphasize that forte and piano. And yeah. Then after that, if we have time, then we go through the book Berlioz the Bear. I love this story. It's super cute. It's about a group of animals who are musicians, and their bandwagon gets stuck in a pothole and they can't get their, I think it's a goat, to pull them out. And so all these different animals come up and try to like pull the goat out, and nothing works. And then at the end, there's a bee, and it's a whole thing. It's hilarious. Definitely check it out if you have not done so before. It's really cute, and I will leave it linked down below. Berlioz the Bear. Cute. And the illustrations are so much fun. It's like all kind of like German folksy looking. It's really cool. On Wednesday, we get started with a bear hunt. So I love going on a bear hunt. This is so much fun. Let me pull this up so that I don't tell you all the wrong things. Most of the things that we are doing this week, by the way, are in my virtual field trip to the forest. So Mouse Mousy, also Grizzly Bear is in here, Bear Hunt is in here, and specifically the reason is because I make my resources on TPT to go along with my lessons, and I always do a forte and piano with bears and mice. So I was like, oh great, we'll do a virtual field trip to the forest to do piano and forte. So this is what it looks like, and when you click on each of the objects, it takes you to different places. There's songs about bears, songs about mice. There's like an animal sorting thing we're gonna do another day. There's tons of stuff. So on the bear hunt is like the little cave bear in the back, and there's a video version of it, but I like to do it myself because why would I want to not do it myself? And so for the my version of bear hunt, which by the way is not the version everyone does, we pat our legs and they echo after me. So we go, we're going on a bear hunt. We're gonna catch a big one. I'm not scared. What a beautiful day. And then I say, are you ready? And they say, yeah. And then I say, come on. They say, let's go. And we'll go back and forth with those a couple times. And then we go back to the steady beat. We're coming to some grass. We're coming to some grass. Some long wavy grass. Some long wavy grass. Can't go under it. Can't go around it. Can't go around it. We have to go through it. Swish, 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 swish. And that continues. So we go through the river, the deep, deep river, and we swim across it. We go through the mushrooms, and I do actually say around usually for this one, and we go for stepping on all the mushrooms. We go through the tree, and we have to go over the tree. We go woo, 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 woo. We go through the swamp, and I love to make this one super dramatic, so I'll be like, we're coming to a swamp. An ooey gooey swamp. An ooey gooey swamp. Can't go under it. Can't go under it. Can't go around it. Can't go around it. I have to go through it. And they just think it's so funny because I'm super dramatic, and they go squish, 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 squish. And then I have them shake the mud off their boots. Anyway, then we come to the cave, and in the cave we say, is it the dark scary cave, and we go in and tell them to close their eyes. They're not allowed to move, they're not allowed to walk, so I don't want them to fall. But they put their hands out, and we have our eyes closed, and I'm like, okay, all right, I feel the side of the cave, and I feel a rock. Okay, go around the rock, and I feel something kind of furry with sharp teeth, and I'm like, don't say anything, but open your eyes. I think it's a bear. Turn around, and we'll like spin around. I'm like, go out the cave. And then we go back through everything in the reverse order. So then we'll go through the swamp, squish, 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 over the trees, over the mushrooms, through the river, through the grass, and I tell them, go in your house, shut the door, run up the stairs, sit down in your bed, and say, whoo, I am never, ever, 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 ever going on a bear hunt again. And if you do it right, they're like so into it. It's hilarious. This is extra fun in the classroom if you can like go around. So I've done it before with classes who are really well behaved, and we're like in a line and we go around, and we'll go like through the hula hoop cave or over like some fabric I lay on the floor to be the river, or just different things like that. It's really cute. So after all of that, we go through the song Grizzly Bear, which again is also in this virtual field trip, because again, this is basically my lesson plan this week. Almost like the whole point. And so I go through these questions and say, if a bear was sleeping, would we want to be loud or quiet? And then if a bear was, would a bear be loud or quiet if he was mad? And then we come to this slide where it just has the words. By the way, there are videos of every single song so that if you want to send it to your kids, they can do it on their own. But we're doing it together. So we label the rhythm. So I just like click on the rhythm and drag it. And I'll just have them tell me out loud. I'm like, okay, so is this part piano or forte? Grizzly bear, oh, grizzly bear. And they're like, and I don't let them say anything there. I'm supposed to be quiet. And then, grizzly bear, oh, grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. They're like, oh, it's piano. And I'm like, oh, great. And so then I'll drag like one of the little mice over there. We keep doing that until we get through the whole song. And then we practice it a couple of times. And then I'm like, great, let's see if we can figure out some other animals and if they would be forte or piano. And so we go through, I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, okay, pause. Yesterday, on Tuesday, they're supposed to do, after I introduce piano, we go through and forte, we go through a little like animal sort activity. And so I was like, we're missing something. We are missing something. I know we are. So this one is the fox, and it looks like this is just a table. And so I'm like, okay, so let's see if we can figure out some animals. Would a squirrel be forte or piano? And they're like, and this is where those hand signs come in really good help. And this is one of those places where the hand signs come in really well, because they can show me their answer either here or here, and then they don't have to tell me, and I can see everybody and what they think. And so then I'll use that same, we'll just drag it and move it over to like the piano section, and then there's a rabbit, and then there's a lion, and we just drag them into which side is the correct one for them. Okay. Then we are going to go through, so back on Wednesday, after we go through Grizzly Bear, then we go through the book Brown Bear, What Do You See? And we figure out what those animals would be. So would each one be forte or would they be piano? Easy, easy peasy, it's just a quick little thing. And then we play the grizzly bear game. So there's a couple of different grizzly bear games floating around. The one that I like to do, that I did even before quarantine and all that stuff, is basically freeze dance. So what we do is, normally we would walk in a circle and we'd have one kid in the middle who is asleep, and they usually lay on the floor. And everyone else walks in the circle while they are singing. At the end of the song, everyone has to freeze. The bear wakes up, so he gets to jump up. And then if anyone's moving, he gets to eat the kid. So he goes like this. And always I keep them like a good foot away from each other. And so then that person would be out for the next round. I usually only have them out for like one round. So that's how I've always done it, because usually it's like a chase game, and your girl's not a huge fan of chase games because they get out of hand really quickly. So we use this version instead. And so my adaptation to it has been simply that they're just at their seats and they just walk in a circle around their desk, or they can dance. So I give them the two different options, but as long as they're moving and then not moving, that's really what I'm worried about. And I still have the kid be the bear, and they still stand up and they do this. They just stay at their spot. They don't get to walk around. So everything's pretty much the same, and it's also really fun. At the end of Wednesday, we're doing a quick little assessment to see who understands forte and piano. So I will play my drum and I'll have them show me, am I playing forte or piano? And I just mark down like, okay, these people are, you know, showing me the right one and these people are not. On Thursday and Friday, we're kind of switching gears and we're working on our Musical Explorers lesson. So this is a program we do through my county, and we learn about different styles of music. This style of music is called klezmer, which is Jewish secular music that is often used at like parties, so like bar mitzvahs, Hanukkah parties, that kind of stuff. And it is Eastern European. So it's some of it's in Yiddish and some of it's in English, and it's a lot of fun. Really kind of different from what your kids are used to, but a lot of fun. So we get started on Thursday, and the students are learning a dance. I actually included this dance in my video that is all about 2nd and 3rd grade movement lessons. I will leave that link below, and I'm gonna pop the video of the dance here. So typically you would do this in a circle. We actually have been doing this on Zoom, so we just go in a line. And so for this one, you do 2 knee bends. So we go down, up, and then we have slow steps. So out, together, out, together, and then really quick steps. Normally we'd be going in a circle, but I just have them run in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's 8. It might be 16. I'm not sure. And then the other way, out, together, out, together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're gonna bring our hands up, bring our hands down, and then quick steps. I think that one's 16. So it goes down, up, down. I had a little overcoat as old as could be. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. What I never do with it, I just couldn't see. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. So I thought a little while, made myself a jacket in the very latest style. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, made a jacket in the very latest style. And then go back down, up, down, up. But you would do in a circle. Again, I'll link a video of like people actually doing this in a circle so you can see how it looks. But my kiddos have been loving this one even on Zoom and just going in a line. We made it a line instead of circle dance. They were. All right, so after that, then my students meet our artists. We have like videos of each of the artists so that the students can learn who they are, what they look like, and all those different things, so that normally we get to go to a concert at the end of the year, and by the time we get to the concert, they're super familiar with the artist, which is really fun. And after this, we're doing a Nearpod. Now, full disclosure, my Nearpod is like literally blank slides, but it worked. So I just wanted them to draw Taz and TTs, and I wasn't sure that 1st grade was even gonna be able to do the Nearpod because most of their teachers don't use Nearpod in their classrooms. So I was like, I'm not making stuff if I don't know that's gonna work. But if you don't know, Nearpod is like a Google Slide add-on. It's got a free and a paid version. I just use the free version, but you can do all these fun things. So you can add like drawing things, and you can do like polls, and you can do, there's like a game called Time to Climb that's really fun, and just lots of really fun stuff like that I would highly recommend. It's a really fun way to get your kids to all participate in a lesson and kind of because they have to interact, and they all get pretty much their own. You can see all the reports, so like at the end I can see all the drawings the kids made, and you can also show them just one slide at a time, which is super helpful because they can't go ahead of you. And you can do them live, or you can send them to the kids. So if you are teaching like some kids in person and some kids at home, then you can send it to the kids who are at home and then show it to the kids who are in person. Anyway, so we do a Nearpod, and in this Nearpod, we're literally just drawing Ta's and Tizi's, and we're doing dictation the same as the other day, just online, so it's a little bit more messy because it's harder to control. But I was surprised by how easily they got this. We are online Thursday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. So for this activity, all of the kids were online, and I did that specifically so that I could put the link in the chat and we don't have to like go and find a Nearpod on the internet and all of that kind of stuff. All right, on Friday, we are working more on the klezmer music. So we start with that same dance and just go straight through it. And then after that, we are listening to the book, Joseph Had a Little Overcoat. So this is the same story as the song. I'm just using a YouTube read aloud. So I will link both the YouTube read aloud and I will link the book on Amazon down below for you so that you can use whichever one you prefer. And after that, we're learning our second song, which is called Bulbez. Now, also, we're just gonna link all the things. Last year when we went online, Musical Explorers had people do video lessons of each of the different styles we were doing last year. And this is actually one we were doing last year. So I was the person who did the klezmer music. So I will leave a link to that video down below. It's like 7 or 8 minutes. But I teach this song and I teach all about klezmer music. So it's a lot of fun. Check it out. Anyway, this song is called Bulbez, which means potatoes. Yes, it's a song about potatoes. And in this song, it's talking about having the same food every single night and getting kind of frustrated about it. So it says, Sunday potatoes, Monday potatoes, Tuesday and Wednesday potatoes, Thursday and Friday potatoes, then on Saturday, a novelty, potato cool. Sunday again, potatoes. So that's the English version of the song, but it goes through the song all the days of the week in Yiddish, and also the whole thing's in Yiddish. And so we learn that. I love to do this song and have the kids keep the steady beat, and I tell them every time you hear the word bulbez to get a little bit more disappointed. And then on Saturday, if you're not familiar with Jewish culture, on Saturday, Saturday is considered the Sabbath, so that means that it is like the holy day. There's all these different things. It includes going to temple and really focusing on resting and spending time with God. But another part of it is that usually you'll have like a nice meal after sundown on Shabbos, on Saturday. And so that's kind of the punchline of the song is like on Saturday, you're so excited because you're not gonna have potatoes and you have potato kugel, which is just like fancy potatoes. When I tell the kids, it's fancy potatoes. So it's really funny and they get super dramatic about it. And then after that, I asked them, what are some foods that maybe they eat a lot? And so they'll come up with all different things and we'll pick one and rewrite the song with whatever we pick. So like, I think last time someone picked ramen noodles. So we did noodles, and then for Saturday we did like spaghetti or something like that. So it was a little bit more fancy on Saturday is kind of the point. After that, it is usually time for some freeze dance. So I have changed my classroom management strategy since we got back in person. I'm not sure if I like it better than my old way or not, but basically the kids are earning points all week to see if they can get minutes of freeze dance on Friday. They usually get at least 2 or 3 minutes, so that's how we end our week, is with some freeze dance. And that is everything that I'm teaching my first graders, actually in the month of, well, like March and April, because my schedule got messed up and now it's just like never gonna end. And actually I was looking at my schedule today and I only have one more set of lessons after this for some of my grades. Some of them have 2, just depending on how many teachers we have. But for first grade, I only have one more set of lessons after this, which is just like mind-blowing that we're that close to the end of the school year. It's crazy. So like when I finish these, I'll have one more first grade video. Weird, right? Anyway, I would love to know if you have Anyway, I would love to know your thoughts about my lessons. I would love to know what you're teaching your first graders, so leave that linked down below. What are your favorite ton, TT things? What are your favorite piano and forte things? Leave those down below. I will link everything that I talked about. If I forget anything, just let me know in the comments and I will fix it for you. And don't forget to subscribe, because I do one of these every week where I tell you like literally every single thing that I'm teaching. And I've done it every single week since the beginning of the school year. So especially if you need some virtual music lessons, like I got you, because those virtual from August until February. So, and now I'm half virtual. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.